All right, hello everyone. My name is Samuel Liu. For my Grounding Theory into Life project, I've chosen to focus on early childhood language development with a focus specifically on building community in low-income, peri-urban environments. The first article I will present today is a 2024 inclusion from Zhang et al. Titled Constraints to Child Language Development in Peri-Urban and Rural Areas, a Mixed Methods Analysis from Southwestern China. And then all APA citations will be at the end of this presentation for your convenience. So this article compared children's language development from rural families to children from peri-urban families, peri-urban being the area that sort of borders urban settings, and ultimately discovered that the rural children have an overall better language development than their peri-urban counterparts. The quantitative results showed that peri-urban children hear almost 22% less adult words and engage in 26% less conversation with adults than their rural counterparts. And this critical lack of exposure to knowledgeable adult speech and social interaction are what ultimately results in their delayed language development. Qualitative interviews with these families revealed that the unique barriers hindering peri-urban's language development were number one, time constraints and community socioeconomic contexts. So the time constraints stem from peri-urban caregivers needing to work most of the day, so they're unable to spend time at home with their child and have those social interactions. And the socioeconomic context barrier actually refers to the discord these peri-urban families feel with their neighbors who may be at a higher economic status, lower economic status, and that prevents community building and interaction between families and between children in the community. On the flip side, rural families generally have a more tight-knit present community that offers a lot of child-adult social interaction, which help build that language development. This reminds me of Vygotsky's sociocultural theory of development, which this study actually echoes a lot of the same sentiments, and the importance of adult interaction and scaffolding um, and building that sort of language development in early childhood education. Solutions John et al. Give to help support these working class parent families are for practitioners to encourage more community level social gatherings in these peri-urban settings for families to engage in, which give the children a chance to experience these vital social interactions without the caregivers needing to sacrifice time away from their work to spend at home. For my real life example, I researched some of these programs in the China area that this article focused on that may already be doing this and discovered Hong Kong's Learning Families Project. So this initiative aims to increase neighborhood cohesion in low rent housing areas, and it did so by creating community level activities such as day camps, thematic activities, horticulture classes, etc. Results from this pilot program showed that this initiative successfully improved closeness in that neighborhood and trust in between neighbors, which not only indicates more sociocultural interactions, but also a viable solution to that socioeconomic context barrier mentioned in Zhang's article, where neighbors are now trusting each other, more open with each other, interacting with each other, playing with each other. So I believe that by expanding initiatives like the Learning Families Project across China and the world, we can break those barriers and create community spaces for children from these working class peri-urban families for them to be exposed to more sociocultural interactions necessary for language development. My second article was also published in 2024 and is from Banerjee et al., titled The Impact of Family Size on Social Communication Skills in Monolingual and Bilingual School Children. So the article dives into the differences between bilingual and monolingual families, namely how larger family sizes benefit bilingual development, while smaller family sizes benefit monolingual development. While this is a very interesting conclusion, it's not what I'm going to be focusing on. Instead, I want to follow that theme of sociocultural interaction, for which this article actually draws a very compelling conclusion that siblings play a large role in developing a child's social communication skills. In particular, the age differences siblings have enable peer-to-peer learning and modeling that encourages language development through those social interactions. This reminds me of the Montessori pedagogical technique we talked about in our class, where classrooms will mix different age groups to facilitate the sort of peer-to-peer mentorship. The reason I bring this particular discovery up is because I think this can actually be extrapolated to tie into the previous article, where what's valid here is not really the familial relationship between siblings, but rather the tight-knit social connection they have with each other as being the main benefactor for language development. What this means is that you don't necessarily need siblings to reap the benefits of having siblings. If you increase neighborhood closeness and have children grow up in a tight-knit community of other children where they're playing together and interacting together on a regular, familiar basis, you can simulate that sibling relationship within the children in your immediate neighborhood. This is actually something I experienced growing up, where I would constantly hang out with my church friends and play with them, grow up with them, talk with them, to the point where I felt like they were my own brothers. In fact, this article also suggests that having these peer-to-peer connections with your siblings may be more beneficial to language development than adult connections to children, further pushing the narrative that having a close community where children can play with each other on a regular, familiar basis can be the solution to supporting language development in these working class urban households where the adult caregivers may not have the time or energy to do so themselves. The real life example I thought of for this article was a TV show from my childhood called Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood. This TV show has themes about neighborhood closeness, friendships, families, and perfectly models the importance of having a close, consistent sociocultural relationships and interactions with the people around you. It's a great TV show to model these values for young children. And in my opinion, in a time where screens are more prevalent in the household, might as well have your child watch something valuable. So that's it. That's my presentation. Hopefully you enjoyed. And yeah, thank you.